As I recognize this one faith, this one heart, this one love, this divine power that flows so deep through each and every one of us, I know that I am connected to the source, as I know each and every one here, everyone online, everyone who watches this service later on, we're all connected to the source. I know and I declare that the service is perfect in the mind of God. We are open at the top, receiving divine guidance and information that just lifts and enlightens us, taking us closer and closer to our true divinity, recognizing, showing us the recognition that we are one with this source. I'm just so very, very grateful to be here in person and see all these beautiful people, and knowing those online are smiling as we just say thank you, thank you, thank you, and I release this to the law that always says yes and is so full of love. And together we say, and so it is. Good morning, everyone. It's so exciting to see all of you here in person and online. Oh, it's such a glorious day. I just want to say thank you for having me here. So, have you ever heard that song on the radio? Then all of a sudden you flash back to that moment in time. That one song, and all of a sudden these memories just come rushing forward. For me, it's a song by a band called Oasis, and it's Wonderwall. And the other day, I was driving in my car, and Wonderwall came on. And I instantly flashed back to December 24th, 1995. I was on a very small island called the Orkney Islands above Scotland, on an island called Shopensea. I was celebrating Christmas with one of my best friends at her home where she grew up. And we went in to have lunch for, they called it dinner, but it was really our lunch. Crazy Scottish. And we were going in, it was just snowing nice and softly. It was a beautiful morning, or early afternoon. And then when we came out, we decided at lunch we were going to explore. On the other side of the island, about 4 miles away, there was this great archaeological site that we wanted to go explore. And off in the distance, I saw this dark cloud, but that was way off in the distance, so we didn't need to worry about it. So we got into her sister's car. There was her two sisters, and myself, and we went off to explore this archaeological site. And the snow started coming down heavier, and the wind picked up. And by the time we drove about 4 miles to the other side of the island, it was a full-blown major storm. But we were determined to go see that archaeological site. So we got out of the car, and the door went almost flying, ripped off because the wind was so strong. And her sister's like, I'm not going to die. I'm not getting out of the car. So she stayed. And my friend and her sister, we walked through the storm, wind determined to go see this archaeological site. And this wind picked me up and almost threw me into this barbed wire fence. And I landed on the pole, protecting myself. And it was a slight thing. So we get to the archaeological site, and we saw it, and we were trying to take pictures, and the wind was blowing. And they actually sent out a rescue party for us. The car wouldn't start. The car died. And we just happened to be in the worst storm that the island has experienced in 40 years. We might call it a hurricane. I think they called it a typhoon. So my friends and I were exploring, having a brilliant time in this hurricane, exploring the archaeological sites. And it really made me start to think about how we view conditions in our life. So this might be termed a horrific condition, a hurricane, that my friends and I were exploring. And it just really got me thinking about how there are conditions in our life, that story that we tell us, that might be hurricane strength. And I have a picture of the hurricane just to show you. So that was me in the hurricane at the archaeological site. And it was pretty painful, the winds and stuff that were coming up. But we saw the thing, the archaeological thing. So this made me really think about us here in our life. When those stories come up, it's not for us, the hurricane was great. It was a fun situation. We were 20 or something and having a great time in these drastic conditions. So when are you in like a drastic condition when you feel that life is just throwing you this downpour, these winds, these unbelievable conditions that are hard? What are we going to do? How are we going to handle it? It's that story that we keep replaying in our head. How are we going to release that story? So Ernest says, man's conscious thought, acting through law, may change any condition in his experience, provided that he can clearly conceive as such condition being changed. So we might feel like we're in a hurricane, and then the eye comes and everything's nice and peaceful, and then we get the back winds, and then everything gets topsy-turvy. We think we handled it, but not so much. It comes back around again. But it's really up to us when we're in that hurricane to change our story about the hurricane. He also says, Ernest also says, we shall often need to know the truth, which we announce is superior to the conditions that we can change. So we might be stuck in that hurricane and see it as a hurricane, but we need to know that the condition can be changed. So it's up to us to really know those thoughts. So my gift to you is when we're in a hurricane, to look at our thoughts and change them and know that on the other side of the hurricane, I should have brought the other picture because the next picture I have is us playing in the snow and having a great time, because after that hurricane, there is a rainbow. Thank you for letting me share.